There is a specific kind of pain that only appears once you truly begin to see. It's not the pain of loss or failure, but something more profound. A deep, resonant loneliness that seems to separate you from the very people you feel closest to. If you've experienced this, you might have wondered if your awakening was a mistake, if seeing the truth has somehow broken you. Let's be clear from the start, this feeling is not a sign that you are broken. It is evidence that you are opening. The shell you once lived inside is cracking. The comfortable, familiar identity you thought was you is beginning to feel like a tight costume you can no longer wear. This is a natural, and even necessary, stage of spiritual growth. Most people navigate life in a kind of collective dream. They agree, without ever discussing it, to a set of rules about what is real and important. They believe their name and story, their achievements and failures, are the sum total of who they are. This shared dream provides a sense of belonging. At a social gathering, you can ask, "What do you do?" and receive an answer that fits neatly into a pre-labeled box. There is comfort in this predictable exchange. But then, something shifts within you. Perhaps through profound suffering, or a moment of inexplicable clarity, or simply a lifetime of questions piling up, the dream state shatters. You see the machinery behind the stage play. You notice the strings, and you can no longer pretend the puppets are moving on their own. This is when the isolation begins. Now, when someone asks you that same question, "What do you do?" the query itself feels alien. A true answer, "I am consciousness experiencing itself through a temporary human form," would only create confusion. So, you learn to code switch. You speak the language of the dream while being acutely aware of a deeper reality. This constant translation between two worlds is utterly draining. But the loneliness goes even deeper than social friction. In awakening, you have a visceral sense that you are not a solitary spectator confined to a bag of skin. You are the entire cosmos, looking out from a particular point of view. Your body is not a possession, it is an activity of the universe, like a whirlpool is a behavior of the river. This realization is liberating, yet it carries a profound paradox. Your deepest connection reveals your greatest solitude. The moment you feel your non-separation from all things, you also become aware of the immense, heartfelt isolation of those who believe they are separate. You cannot simply tell them they are wrong. You cannot argue someone into this understanding. So you stand there, your psychological armor dissolved, feeling everything with a new and startling intensity. This is the brokenness people describe. It is not a shattering into pieces, but a breaking out of a confined space. You have outgrown the container of the separate self. Without those walls, the winds of existence feel sharper. You feel the anguish of others not as their distant problem, but as a tremor within your own expanded being. You see the fear behind aggression, the hurt behind cruelty. This overwhelming sensitivity is why many wise figures throughout history retreated into solitude. It wasn't a rejection of the world, but a necessary return to the silent source to integrate the overwhelming influx of feeling. Please understand, this loneliness and fragility are not spiritual errors to be corrected. They are the natural consequences of perceiving reality with greater clarity in a world that prefers a comfortable filter. Think of it like this: imagine everyone is completely engrossed in a film, reacting to every twist and turn. You, however, have glanced back and seen the projector. You've seen the light source and the mechanics of the illusion. You can still appreciate the story, but you can never again share the same raw, unexamined emotional investment as the rest of the audience. This creates a distance. The broken feeling arises because the pursuits that energize the majority, the new possessions, the social validation, now feel ephemeral. You see them as passing patterns in a much vaster flow. You cannot genuinely participate in the fervor, so you feel disconnected from the collective. But this rupture is, in fact, an opening. You haven't lost your way, you've seen through the illusion of a single path. And yes, this can be profoundly disorienting. You are caught between two worlds, no longer able to believe in the old dream, yet not permanently anchored in the awakened state. This in-between space is often where the deepest loneliness resides. So, what do you do with this experience? First, recognize you are traversing a well-worn path. The mystics and sages across all traditions have walked this solitary road. Your loneliness is not a sign of failure, but a marker of a genuine seeker. Second, learn to be at peace with the discomfort itself. Do not try to flee the feeling of isolation. Instead, turn toward it with curiosity. When you fully feel the loneliness, you make a startling discovery. The one who feels lonely is itself a transient thought. You are the vast, aware space in which the feeling of loneliness arises and subsides. From this perspective, the feeling loses its solidity. It becomes like a cloud moving through the open sky of your consciousness. Brokenness, too, transforms when you reframe it. You are not broken, you are open. Your heart is no longer shielded. Life can flow through you with less resistance. However, a warning is necessary here. The spiritual ego is cunning. It can hijack your awakening and use it to create a new sense of separation. You might start to feel spiritually superior, looking down on the sleeping masses. This is just the old ego in a new costume. True awareness does not create hierarchy. It sees the same fundamental consciousness playing all the roles: the seeker, the finder, the one who is lost. Deeply understood, your loneliness undergoes another shift. You realize that the separation you feel is an illusion. Your solitude is, in fact, shared by all of humanity at its core. Most are just temporarily distracted from it. And here is the ultimate secret: when you stop resisting the loneliness and the sense of being broken open, when you allow these experiences to be fully present without judgment, something alchemical occurs. The pain may not vanish, but it is enveloped by a profound peace. This is the peace of surrender, the peace of no longer arguing with what is. This is the real goal of the spiritual journey, not to escape human experience, but to meet all of it with unconditional presence. The spiritually awake individual feels lonely because they perceive a reality that remains invisible to most. They feel broken because they have grown too large for the small self they once inhabited. But this is not the finale. It is the commencement. The start of a life lived authentically, without the compulsive need to seek approval from a world that is still dreaming. In time, you may find others who recognize this same quality in you. The connection is immediate and wordless. But even if you walk this path without human company, you are never truly alone. You walk with the entirety of existence, because you are that entirety, expressing itself as a singular, beautiful point of view. If you feel lonely tonight, if you feel tender and exposed, do not condemn these feelings. They are not your enemies. They are signposts. They are proof that you are waking up. You have traded comfortable illusions for the raw, vibrant truth of existence. You have chosen reality over a fantasy. And while that choice may come with a cost, what you receive in return is immeasurable. You receive your own true being. Welcome to the journey. Welcome to the ache of an opening heart. In a very real sense, welcome home. If this exploration resonated with you, please support this channel by giving this video a like and subscribing to Winds of Thought for more journeys into understanding.